this beautiful Sunday afternoon. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're joining us on Facebook or on YouTube, welcome to PTM Hangout. My name is Veribek Chima. I am the convener of the Parenting Through Mentorship Academy and community on Facebook. If you are here, I want to say a very big welcome to you, and I would like you to let us know that you are here by telling us who you are and where you're joining us from. Oh, we'll see your name. Just let us know where you're joining us from. I am streaming live from the capital city of Abuja. Sorry, we're about 3 minutes late. We're so sorry about that. So welcome to this live broadcast. We do this every Thursday. We call it the PTM Hangout, okay, where we come and we talk about issues on parenting, and we allow you ask questions, firsthand. Yeah. So you can call it a question and answer Q&A session if you like, because, hey, we allow you the opportunity to ask questions in the comments, even while we are talking about a particular topic or a particular issue. So today we're going to be talking about the benefits of having a secure attachment, okay? Having our children having a secure attachment. If we have a secure attachment going on between us and our children, meaning our children are secure in their attachment to us, what are the benefits of having this kind of relationship with your children? Or what are the benefits if you are able to raise children who will feel secure in the way they are attached to you? Now, we cannot talk about, there's all the theory. Okay, there's all that theory around around attachment, the attachment theory. We're not going to go into that right now. Okay, we're just going to go and look at the benefits of the right, attachment. Experts, psychologists have found out through research and studies that the best kind of attachment that anyone should have in any relationship, okay, be it a relationship between two adults or a relationship with your children, the best kind of attachment that you can have is one that is secure. When you feel secure in that attachment, when you are sure that you are sure and you are sure of, this other person in your life and what the person stands for, okay, when you are sure that they'll always be there, you're sure they'll always have your back, you're sure of what it is that exists between the two of you, there is no relationship that is better than that kind of relationship. Now, the question is, how can I have that kind of relationship, or how can I build that kind of relationship with my child? Okay, we have heard of parents who have done everything, okay, by our standards. Okay, we've seen, okay, parents that we say, oh, this parent, he's such a godly person, he's such a nice man, he's such a this, he's such a that, and then at the end of the day, you find out that this person has a child or has children that they're like North and South Pole, like they don't agree, or this person has teenagers or preteens that this person cannot even, influence and all of that. And you're wondering, he's such a good person, he's such a kind person, he's a pastor, he's a principal, he's a good person, he's an educator, he knows how to discipline people, he knows how to bring out the best in children. If you go to his school, every child is on top of their game and all of that. So how come he does not have this effect on his children? It's likely because of the kind of attachment that exists between this kind of parent and their child. So you can see people that ordinarily, from an outward look or looking at them from the outside, you will conclude that this person is a kind of person, and yet within, in their home, this person does not reflect what we see outside, or the relationship that you see going on in that home does not reflect the person that we think we see from outside. If you dig down, if you look at it deeply, you will realize it's coming from the kind of attachment that exists between this person and his family. Now, you can't talk about secure attachment without going back, right, to how you were raised, or going back to a childhood. So we can't talk about secure attachment without going right from the beginning, how our children were raised, or how we raised our children from the beginning. Now, if you're a toddler parent, then you are in the right place at the right time, where you'll be looking at the things that you need to do, or the things that you need to put in place, right, to build this kind of attachment between you and your child. And better still, if you are that person who doesn't even have children yet, you know how I envy the likes of you. Okay, I envy young people who don't even have children yet, but are already building knowledge and getting, information and building their store of information as per how they can go about it when their children arrive. These are the real MVPs. These are the real, these are the real people, man, because you have everything that you need to start off on the right foot. A lot of us had to learn along the line. A lot of us had to struggle. A lot of us had to unlearn, right? But you have, the opportunity to start on the right foot. Okay, so as I said, you can't talk about a secure attachment without going right from the beginning, right from the cradle. I always like to go right from the cradle, isn't it? Because I am deeply invested in foundations. I believe that the foundation is everything. Even the scripture says it, right? Even the scripture says that the foundation is everything, isn't it? So if we get it right at the foundational stage, if we can build the right blocks, okay, if we can build the right blocks, if we can create the right cast at the foundation stage, then every other thing that we mount, every other block that we mount on the foundation will be solid. Okay, even if the blocks shake, because the foundation is solid, we can always go back and mount on that foundation. So yes, the foundation is very, very important. So that's why there is nothing I talk about that I do not go right back to the foundation and start from there. So now when a child is born, right, you have that child. The child is they're different, children come with different temperaments, isn't it? Children come with very different temperaments. So you have that child that is really very easy, the ones we call the easygoing children, that one that hardly will cry, right? The one that hardly will cry, okay, doesn't cry so much, and then does not demand so much of us to meet their needs. Okay, so if you are a parent who happens to get this kind, who happens to have this kind of child, let's assume your first child is this kind of child. Okay, the child doesn't cry. His diaper is wet, he just cries a little, you check, oh, it's just the diaper, you change the diaper, and baby is okay and smiling and goes off to sleep. Okay, the child, the child is hungry. You go and then you check, oh, it's hunger. He ate his last meal about 2 hours or 3 hours ago. He needs another meal. You put it together, you feed the child eats, and then the child goes to sleep. Okay, so with this kind of children, it's all that we need to do is we look at the cues. Okay, we just look at the cues. We look at whether the child is wriggling, whether the child is, we look at the cues, and through the cues, we're able to pick what needs the child has, and we're able to meet that need. Now, with this kind of children, it probably would be easy, right? Easy to, have that trust, because what happens is when we attend to children this way, they have a need, you attend to the need. What happens is the child at this stage is totally dependent on you, isn't it? Child is totally dependent on you for his needs, food and emotions and all of that. All of his needs is dependent on you. So at every point the child is perturbed, every point the child is restless or is uncomfortable, you show up as a parent and then you meet that need. So you realize, so parents who show up and meet those needs, children like this will trust them more. Okay, they can trust and they can be sure that if all I need to do is to let out a sound that I am uncomfortable, and my mother will be there to fix things. Now you have your second child, and your second child is not that very easy child. You don't pick the cues, okay, or what you think are the cues that you're getting from this child. When you attend to them, the baby is still there yelling and screaming and all of that. So what it means is, if you are not a parent who is equipped, if you're not a parent who is intentional, if you're not a parent who understands all of these things that we're talking about right now. You understand the psychology of the child. You understand how the child brain works. You understand the child's need. You will find that you will likely get overwhelmed, isn't it? You will likely get overwhelmed. You get irritated. You are impatient and all of that. And if you are from this part of the world where people have all kinds of funny advice as to what you should do, before you know it, you realize that you are already in your mind, you are training, right? And you are already giving off certain vibes to this child. So you go there, you change the diaper for the child, and the child is still crying. All that this child gets from you is what's the expression that your child sees on your face as a parent. So you are there trying to change the diaper. You have this really irritated look on your face. Okay, you are irritated, and then you are there cursing and letting out all kinds of anger. You're throwing a tantrum practically to a 2-month-old baby that cannot do anything about your tantrum. Now, what we forget to understand is this baby has a brain, and the brain is soaking up all of your expressions, all of your comments, and all of those things. So for you, the child is not hearing it because most of what we do, okay, most of what we do as parents and as adults, we do for ourselves. That's why I say a lot of times when you see parents yelling and beating and shouting and doing all those things to children, it's not exactly the children, it's your emotions, it's you, it's yourself that you need to satisfy. So when you go all out and you express yourself, and you go all out and you ease that emotion, or ease that thing that is going on within you at the time by beating or slapping the child, you get the satisfaction, that adrenaline pump. Yes, you exhaust it by doing something. It's for you more than it is for the child. If not, how else would you explain to me that someone is beating a 1-month-old or a 2-month-old baby because the baby is crying? What exactly is the baby supposed to learn from you hitting the person? But a lot of times, because we need to do that, we need to do something to feel better about the way we feel, we go ahead and take it all out on children. So you hear the ones that will tell you, if the child bites you, at that time they are growing little teeth, right? So, I mean, by the time the baby is 4 or 5 months, the baby bites you or something like that. They tell you, beat the baby so that he will know that he shouldn't do it. Beat him. That's how you spoil children. Okay, so what's happening at this stage is the baby needs you for one reason or the other because you do not understand this baby. Okay, children are different. When you first came, you could pick the cues. It was easy for you to understand child one's cues. So you just look at the child and you think the child is wriggling, and you know that it's because of the diaper. But child two is not that easy for you to pick their cues. So he doesn't exactly wriggle, okay, when he's like that. And hey, this child has a different temperament, remember. So for this child, it could be something else. It could actually be something else, okay, that you cannot pick. But hey, you come, it's not diaper, it's not food, and the baby is still crying and you're frustrated. It could be the environment at the time. It could be the temperature of the place. It could just be anything at all, okay? Or it could just be that this child is different. This child's love language is touch, okay? This time, love language is such that the child wants to be touched, okay? And the child wants to be carried, the child wants to be touched, and all of that, okay? Acts, I mean, all this kind of expressions. And because in the case of your first child, you just fed them and this child was okay. The child's love language was not such that you needed to, hold them, close and all of that. The child didn't need all of that. So automatically you believe that child two should have the same template, or the same template should work for child two. For child one, I just fed him and dropped him and everything is okay. No, this other child wants you to hold him close. That's how he feels. I mean, that's how he feels loved. That's how he gets to trust you, that you're holding him longer. This child just happens to be different. But oh no, because of course you're a busy parent, because of course you have other things to attend to. You don't have time to come and be carrying a child up and down the place. So hey, you get upset that the child is still crying. But this child's need at the time is just for you to hold them. This child's need at the time is just, it's just a different demand that the child has. And because you don't understand this, or you don't understand that children can be different based on their temperament, so their needs can be different, you do not do all of this. So what's happening is this child cannot trust you to meet their need when they have them. You build that gradually without knowing it as parents. Okay, you build that without even knowing it as a parent. So when this child lets out a cry at the point where that is the only way the child can express himself, he cries and cries, and someone has also told you, when they cry, leave them. If you carry them all the time, you are spoiling them. So of course, sorry, a call is coming in. I need to turn that off. Sorry, I can't help you. All right, so because someone has told you that if I mean, don't pick them every time they cry, just leave them there, let them cry. But meanwhile, this is the child's only way. This is the child's only way of getting your attention for whatever needs that the child needs at the time. Now the child is there and you're not attending to that need. The child is there in need of this thing, and nobody is attending to that need. So, what do you think? The child cannot trust. The child cannot trust that whenever I need something, please let me turn it on. Whatever I need something, there will be my mother or my father or this caregiver to attend to me. So this is the difference between these two children. This child who has his need always attended to. This child who, all he needs to do is express his need per time, and then people come and attend to that need. Will build trust. Okay, we'll begin to trust that every time he has a need, someone will attend to it. And while this is happening, the child will build a kind of attachment, okay, that is secure, knowing that whenever I have a need, I would have my mother who will be there for me. As the primary caregiver, how does your child see you? Can the child trust that if they have a need, you will always be there to attend to that need? Okay, now this is how you start building a secure attachment, by being that parent who understands their child and is there for their needs. Now, how do we now get ourselves to the place where we can be this kind of parents who understand and meet the needs of our children? We can't do this without having emotional intelligence or without understanding how the psychology of a child. You need to learn the psychology of children. You need to learn that there is no child. When I hear things like this, I always laugh. When parents will say, this child, he always likes to make you angry. How can a 3, 4, 5, 8-month-old, do we think that the mind of a child is that warped, that a child just wants to go out of their way to make you angry? Okay? Meanwhile, the scripture actually tells us that for us to get to heaven, we need to be like children. Meanwhile, meaning at this point of their life, they do not even have the ability to think in this way that you are saying that they are thinking. So no child plans to get you upset. No child plans to get, it just happens to be that this is this child's need, and this is this child's only way of expressing when they have a need. This is this child's love language. So the child is going to use that cry to actually alert you when he's hungry. He's going to use cry to alert you when he's in pain. He's going to use cry to alert you when he needs tenderness and love. He's going to use cry to alert you when he is afraid. That is the only language that the child has. So that's the only way the child is going to express themselves. So you, as a parent or primary caregiver, will have to learn how to be patient. Will have to learn how to read cues from this child. Will have to learn who this child is, meaning you would have to understand the child. You will have to take time to understand why child 2 is different from child 1. Okay, you would have to do that. You would have to also understand the temperament of this child. Okay, and then you will have to learn to be someone who can regulate their emotion. So it's because of emotional regulation that you pick up a child that's been crying for 30 minutes and you're looking them in the eye and you're telling them it's okay. Mommy is here and you're going to be fine. How can mommy, you're speaking to this child as if the child can listen or the child can hear you. Oh, yes, they can. They may not be able to respond to you, but yes, they can hear you. At least the brain can absorb what it is that you're saying, the expressions that you have when you're saying it. So how and what you're saying matters right from when a baby can hear and can see. What you are saying and how you are saying it matters very, very much. And this is how you're going to build a secure, okay, this is how you're going to build a secure attachment in this child. Now, when you're able to raise children who can trust you, okay, you raise a child with secure attachment, a child who can trust you, that when he has a need, you will be there to respond to that need. Do you know what that does? It helps you begin to raise certain traits in the children. As you raise children with secure attachment, what is happening in the back end, okay, that you cannot see, is that certain traits are being built in your child. Okay, and we're going to be looking at those traits. Okay, these are the benefits of a secure attachment. When you are able to calm down as a parent and pay attention to your child's needs, when you are able to meet those needs, whether those needs are physical, whether those needs are emotional, if those needs are material, whatever the need of your child is it a need for food? Is it a need for a change of diaper? Is it a need of someone to listen to them tell their stories that do not make sense to you? Is it a need for you to just listen to them chat on and on and on after a hard day at work? When you are doing all of these things, okay, you are building trust in your children. You are saying to your children, I am here for you whenever you want me. And you know what that does? And you know what that does? It allows your child go out confident that when they come back, no matter what it is, they would always have you. When they come back, no matter what it is, whether they make mistakes or they do not, whether they make mistakes or they do not, whether they win or they lose, because of the kind of attachment that they have, because of the bond that exists between you, because as they were growing up, at every point they needed you, you showed up for them. At every point they had a need, you were there to meet that need. At every point, they didn't even have the right words to say these things to you. You were there to understand, and then you showed up for them. Even at the time where they were all over the place with their emotions, you taught them how to recognize those emotions. You taught them how to speak out about those emotions. You validated their emotions. So when they were angry, you were there to calm them. So what am I saying? You cannot raise a child that will be secure. You can't raise a child with secure attachment if you don't do some work on yourself as a parent and get yourself to the point where your emotions are not all over the place. Okay, so as I said, as you're building a secure attachment in your child, what is happening is there are certain traits that are being built in the back end, and these traits are the benefits of raising children who have a secure attachment. I'm going to be talking about 5 of them. I'm going to be sharing 5 of them with you this afternoon. Number 1, okay, when you raise children with secure attachment, what happens? These children become emotionally, people with emotional attachment. They become people with emotional security, right? They become people with emotional attachment, become people with emotional security. They become people who are responsive emotionally, okay? They become people who have deep emotions, emotional expressions. Okay, so because of how expressive you are as a parent, right? Because of how expressive you are as a parent, so what you do is, right from when your children couldn't talk, you will pick them and you are expressing, you're speaking with them. Oh, sweetie, what's wrong? How can mommy help you? You're looking at your child, you're speaking to your child. You've had a hard day, but you can still manage the right expression on your face. You had a hard day, but you can still speak to your child with a calm voice. What you're doing is you are modeling to your child the right way to act, even in the midst of frustration. You're able to separate between anger and frustration. Okay, you're able to separate between you're able to separate your different emotions, and you're able to handle those different emotions. Okay, you're able to come back from work after a hard day and you don't pack all of the tension and all of the stress from work and dump it on your children. You know how some of us come back home, and because you just had a bad day with your boss, that day everyone in your house will know that something happened to you at work. Meanwhile, the people that messed your day, or the people who did whatever to you, are there chilling with their children in their home. What do? You come home and you deposit a piece of the bitterness and the anger that you gathered from work with this children who have nothing to do with what you have just gone through or what you're going through. So when we do that, we actually push our children away, okay, and we model the wrong things to them. But when we're raising them with the right emotions, we're raising them, okay, to trust us, we're raising them, right, to trust us. We're raising them to have secure attachments. Okay, what's happening in the back end is these children are also they're also gaining stamina, emotional stamina. So these kind of children will know how to express themselves. Okay, so these are the kind of kids that you come back home and they can pick your non-verbal cue. Remember, once upon a time, you were the one picking their non-verbal cue. You were the one picking the child up, putting the child in your arm and asking the child, what's wrong with you, sweetie? Are you okay? Are you all right? Even at the point where the child could not talk. So you will come back home and your child is 10 and he will walk up to the room and say to you, hey, mommy, are you okay? Would you like a glass of water? Is everything okay? Did you have a good day at work today? Did you have a good day at work today? Are you sure you don't need me? Would you like me? What would you like me to bring to you? To eat something? Why would you have this kind of children? Because you have raised children who have a secure attachment, and while you were doing that, you were building certain traits in them. And today, your child is expressive. Okay, your child is expressive with their emotions. Okay, this kind of children can also acknowledge their own emotions and name their emotions, right? When you are that kind of parent who knows how to speak with your children, reason with your children, understand their perspective to things as they grow older, become young, they become children of school age, preteens and teens. You are that parent who would always hear their perspective. Okay, I don't understand why this happened, and I would like you to make me understand why you had to do this. That thing you did, is it right? Is it wrong? I would like you to explain to me why you had to do that. So you allow your children explain to you why they had to do things. You stop and you listen to them. You listen to them, pitch for something that they want. You listen to them explain to you why they had to make certain decisions in their life. Okay, your children make mistakes and you are not right there, shaming them, castigating them, and then dragging them all over the place. But rather, you sit down and you say to them, I need you to look at what you just did. Okay, I would need you to look at what you just did and speak to me about why you had to do it or why you had to make that decision. Let your child come to you, okay, and explain to you, this is what I did and it was a wrong thing to do. That is true remorse. That is true remorse. The other day, my son, I can't remember, one of my kids, we're talking. We always talk when we get back on our way from school. And one of them was telling me how two of their classmates had an altercation. And then the teacher told each of them to say sorry to each other. Okay. Now, the problem with saying sorry to each other is a lot of times it doesn't allow our children reflect. Okay. So saying sorry is not the best way to resolve conflict. It doesn't really resolve conflict, or it doesn't really teach our children moral if we don't get them to the point where they can reflect, or where they can self-examine, reflect, and then get to the point where they are remorseful enough, right, to go out of to decide to make that apology. So every time children have conflicts and then you separate them and say, come on, say sorry to each other, sorry, and grudgingly say sorry and they go. Sorry does not automatically mean conflict resolution. All right. So basically, when you are that person that can get your children to reflect on their actions, okay, they reflect on it and they say to you, oh, this is what I did, and I'm really sorry. I feel ashamed that I did this. I could have done differently. And then you're able to say to the child, so what could you have done differently? And the child looks at it and says, okay, next time I think I should do this, I should do that. What you have done, you've taken the child round, full cycle. The child has made the mistake. You've allowed the child to acknowledge the mistake. You've allowed the child to look at the mistake and self-correct. And then you have given the child the opportunity to act differently given the same situation. When you have gone through all of these, you have just helped that child to build emotional stamina. You have helped that child to build a secure attachment, knowing that I could go wrong, but hey, I will not be dragged. I will not be shamed. I will not be castigated and screamed at and yelled at and all that. And then you have allowed that child to go full cycle, okay, through making mistakes and recovering from the mistakes and doing better. When you do this with your children, you will be raising children, right, with secure attachment, knowing that no matter what mistakes I make, no matter what it is that I do, I will not be dragged, pulled, castigated, and all of that. So I work with parents, okay, in the Mentor Parents program and other programs that I run with parents. You will hear parents ask questions like, my child is beginning to lie a lot. I don't know. What can I do? And all of that. So first question I always ask them is, when they tell you the truth, or in the past that things have happened at home, how did you react? Okay, chances are, if you're a parent that is volatile in your response, if you're a parent that is always shaming and giving punishment every time for every mistake that they make, the truth is, with time, they will avoid your shaming. They will avoid, rather than go through all the shaming and all the beating and all that, I would devise another way to see how I can beat you to it. So that's why your children are lying a lot of the time, because they don't want to go through all, that comes with, when you find out or when they tell the truth. All right, so we will have to be strategic as parents, okay, if we're going to raise children who would always speak with us, okay, and that happens when they are secure in the way they are attached to us. So children like this know how to name their emotions because you taught them how. Children like this know how to self-examine, okay, so children like this are reflective, okay, they know how to reflect, they know how to reflect, and this kind of children know how to be remorseful, okay. So when you raise children like this, you will be raising these traits in these children, and tell me if this will not be beneficial to you as a parent. And that's the truth, okay. That's the thing about parenting. For the way you raise your children, you will actually be the first beneficiary of the way that you raise your children. So if you raise your children to be emotionally balanced and secure, okay, you will be a beneficiary of that emotional balance and security. That's the truth about it. Okay, if you raise children that you can reason with, the children will grow up and reason with you. All right, so that's number one. Number two, okay, number two is your children will know how to show empathy. So when you raise children with secure attachment, behind the stage, behind the scene, at the back end, you will be raising empathy in the child. So it starts right from the cradle. Your child is ill and the child cries. The child is crying because, of course, the child is going through pains. So what do? Even in the midst of your tiredness, you pick this child up, you cuddle your child, you're looking at your child. Please, parents, when you hold your children, please don't do it halfway. If you're holding your child, you're not speaking to your child and you're not looking into your child's eyes, you are not completing the circle of attachment. You're not completing the circle of affection. Okay? When you carry your children, make time to look them in the face. Make time to smile at your child. Make time to laugh with your child. Don't just be present in the life of your child. Be present in a way that has content to your presence, okay? Be present and available. So don't just lift your child, carry the child, hand. Some of us with one hand, you just lift the child, hide the child like this, and then you're talking to every other person, looking at every other person except the person that you're carrying carelessly with one hand. It is not the same thing. When you carry your children and be affectionate. Give them your time and give them your attention. Okay, when you lift your children up. If you're not carrying them, let's know you're not carrying them. But if you're carrying your child, then carry your child and put a lot of affection to it. Okay, so your child is sick, you're carrying your child, you're holding the child, you're loving the child and all of that. As they grow older, right? As they grow older, they get into they get into mistakes, or they get the child goes to school, comes back with a bad result and all of that, and you're not jumping at their neck straight up. Look at you, you will never do well every day. See, after everything I've spent, after everything I've done, sit down with your child. Hey honey, I just went through your report card. Okay, hand it to the child and ask the child, is that you? That's what I do. I get your report card, they give me your report card, and then a lot of times I won't even look at it first. I hand it first to the child, and I say to you, whoa, your report card that I give you, look at it. You look at it and all of that. And I'm done, mommy. Okay, good. Is that you? Is that a representation of you? Did you give it your best? Is that your best shot? And it's like, yes. And this is all before I even look at it. After that, I pick the report card and I go to the lower parts of the report card straight up. That is my own feedback. That is my parenting being reported to me. You know, the part that says how your child is empathetic, how your child is organized, how your child is this, how your child, that part that reports, who your child is. This skill is emerging, this exceptional and all of that. That's where I look, because that is the part that's talking about your child's character. That is the part that I know that I'm playing a big role in as a parent. So I look at that part, and then I come up and I look at the grades at that point. So if for some reason there's you have 1 or 2 grades that are not okay, the question you want to ask the child is, oh, I see French is 60 over 100 or 70 over 100 or 80 over 100. What happened? Every other thing is 90 and 100. What happened to French and this one? And then the child will say to you, I don't like it, I don't understand it, I don't this, I don't that. Oh, so how can we help you? What do you think we can do to help you? Okay, then the child will say to you, oh, my friend has this lesson teacher, or my friend, whatever. Just make sure that you are showing the child that I am interested in your well-being. I am not about how you look to outsiders. I am not about how you make me look as a parent. I'm not about how your older brother is doing in comparison to you. I'm not about, oh, all the children in your class that have 90 and 100, do they have 2 heads? No, let your child know that that's not what you're about. You are about their well-being and them operating at their optimal capacity. So the question is, how can I help you, sweetie? And this is how you show empathy. Being able to put yourself in the child's shoes, being able to put yourself in the other person's position, being able to think, okay, try to allow yourself get into the mind of your child, of your school age child, of your preteen, of your teenager, of your toddler, being able to go into their heads and think like they think. This will show empathy. And in turn, while you are doing this, at the back end, your child is learning how to be empathetic. Okay, so the other day I had a training at 9 p.m. training just yesterday. I had a 9 p.m. training and all of that. Okay, the children had finished eating, washed off their plates. They finished eating, washed off their plates, and done everything that they should do. My son had just finished his assignments and he was going off to bed at about 9-ish. Okay, my younger one was already sleeping. He was going to go to bed about 9-ish or something like that. And then just before he went to sleep, he looked into the kitchen and realized I had not packed the food for the day and there was still stuff there. So he went in there, packed the food, packed everything, and cleared up the place. He cleared up everything. Okay, the only thing he didn't remember to do was to, check out the trash and all of that. So I finished the class. It was one of those late one-off kind of trainings. So I finished that training, and in my head, while I was doing that training, I still need to go to the kitchen and clear off, or I still need to go and sort out things in the kitchen, blah, blah, blah. It's a Sunday, okay? What was yesterday? Okay, why did I think yesterday was Sunday? Funny enough. Okay, we went to church. That's why we went to church. Ash Wednesday, right? Good. So somehow, at the back of my mind, I would have to do that. So you can imagine the relief okay, because I was tired. I had a hard day. I just had two trainings. I went to church, came back, jumped into a training. We had to finish Race to Thrive series. I finished the Race to Thrive series and I jumped back into another class with some young adults. So I was exhausted, and at the back of my mind is, I still need to go clear up. But then I opened the door and the kitchen was clean and everything was fine. Everything was done already by my 12-year-old. So how empathetic is that? Okay, so if we raise children, okay, from time to time, you want to say to the child, oh, sweetie, I see that you're tired today. Okay, just drop your lunchbox and stuff there. I'll wash them for you. Okay, but of course, if you're not a parent who has raised your child to be responsible to do those things for themselves, okay, people do them for them. So even when you decide to do it for them, they will not recognize it because the child is already entitled. So if you have the house help, the house boy and the house girl and everybody doing those things for your children, don't worry, don't bother with it. They will not recognize and they will not appreciate it. Okay, in their head, why is mommy doing it when the house help can do it? Okay, so look for that thing that your child will ordinarily do for themselves, and once in a while come in and decide to, do it with them. It could be their homework. You don't do your homework. You don't sit to homework with them. Okay. Maybe even for daddies that are hardly ever there, it's always mommy and all that. And this day you happen to be around and you're like, hey, buddy, have you done your homework? All right, come, let's work together. Let me see what you're doing. Okay. It could be a project and all that. Oh, your project. Okay. I could work with you on your project on Saturday. How about that? Okay. When you do things like that, you're showing your children how, you're showing them empathy, and you're teaching them how to be empathetic, how to put themselves, okay, how to help put themselves in a place that helps other people feel good about themselves, how to do things for other people, right? And put the needs of other people, at the back of their minds and all of that. You're teaching your children to step out of themselves and want to, please or help other people. Okay, in turn, as I said, you are the first receptor. You will be the first person that will benefit from the way you have raised your children. So it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Get all the people from Kaduna South. Get all the ones from Miango. Get all the ones from Senegal. Get all of them to do everything for your children, okay? Let them do everything from your children, from brushing their teeth to do everything for them. All of a sudden, they will become 15 and 16, and you would wish that your child can say to you, hey, mommy, can I fix something for you to eat when there is no other person to do it? You will wish that even at the point where there is the house help, that one that comes from your own is sweeter, right? There is the cook there, and your 16-year-old son says to you, what do you want to eat today, mom? I want to fix it for you. It's a different kind of satisfaction. Or is it only me that is like this? It's a different kind of satisfaction, even if you have 10,000 domestic staff. It's a different kind of satisfaction that your child goes out of his way to want to do something just because they honor you, simply because you have raised them with a secure attachment. And while you were doing that, you were helping them develop certain traits, right, that they will need to navigate the world even as they grow older and they get out on the world on their own. All right, so empathy, you will be developing empathy when you can raise children with secure attachment. Okay, I hope we can make the connection. All right, self-confidence. Woo, woo, woo. If you raise children with secure attachment, your child that knows that whenever I need my parents, they're there for me. When I have a need, when I make mistakes, my parents will be there. Not to tell everybody to shut up, leave him away, just leave him like that. Let her do as she likes. Yes, leave her, it's her body. Let her do it as she likes. Mind yourself, mind your business. Shame on you. No, not that kind of attachment. Okay, not that kind of being there for you. The one that you make mistakes and they can say to you, come on. Because I understand what you're going through right now. Even I will feel the same way if I made this kind of blunder. Okay, it's okay. I'm here for you. I'm here to comfort you. Everything is going to be okay. Then when you finish grieving, they can say to you, let's sit down, young man, sit down, young woman. Okay, I mean, what happened? Why did you do that? Why did you have to do that? Blah, blah, blah. Okay? Why did you drink and you were driving? No, that's wrong, and all of that. And then they finish and they tell you, I understand, I feel you completely. I'm so sorry you had to go through that. And then when they finish, they turn to you and you can say, all right, just take your time when you feel better and all of that. When they feel better, and then you say to them, I hope you know you would have to fix the car. So, hey, part of your allowance will be used to fix the car. I mean, before that, you already have certain rules and boundaries and rules and standards, okay, consequences in place. So the consequences do not stop you from empathizing with your child. The consequences do not stop you from validating how your child feels, because that's the one we do. Our children make mistakes and we automatically we automatically decide that they have been stripped of every privilege. They've been stripped of our humanity. They've been stripped of our empathy. They've been stripped of our support as a family. They've been stripped of our kindness. They've been stripped of our kind words. Because you have made a mistake, you are now going to get the devil's treatment. You can never raise a child with a secure attachment that way. Never. It won't happen. Okay? A secure attachment requires that when your child makes a mistake, you are there to support them. You are here. You're there to support them. You are there to understand what they are going through at the time and validate it. It is okay that you feel that way, because that is how I will feel. I am human. Okay, you don't take your humanity because your child has made a mistake. Validate every one of their mistakes. Even if your child is going to prison, go there and hug him every time he's in court. Hug the child and tell them, I am praying with you. I'm praying for you. You're going to be okay. You're not going to ostracize your child simply because he made a mistake. No, but you're going to allow them take the full brunt of the consequences with their entire chest. That is what it means to build a secure attachment. When he has finished drinking and crashing the car, it's all right. It's all right. Okay, your allowance will pay for the car or will pay for the fixing. When he has finished and he walks, he has crashed your car, it's okay. Be there, love and empathize with them. And then after that, 10% or 20% of your salary will fix the car. It's as simple as that. So today, my kids went home with just their lunch, no snack. And if you have kids like my kids, you will know that the snack is the cocoa. The snack is the real thing, right? That's where they have the burger, they have the shawarma, they have the shawarma, they have the burger, they have those things, the pancakes rolled with sausages and all of that. So that's when they have all of those things, right? The lunch is usually a proper meal. It's rice, or it's spaghetti, yam, and all of that. Okay, and we know what children like. Right, but it's okay. We have already decided you would have to wake up, right, and fix that snack. If you want it, you will have to earn it. Okay, you want a snack. Why not really wake up and fix yourself a snack? I have a 12-year-old that can cook and fix these things for himself. So if you're going to wake up, if your alarm is going to go off and you're going to keep on sleeping there, and you will wake up or get off your bed 20 minutes after your alarm goes off. Now you wake up and you forget that, or you refuse to acknowledge that you woke up late, which means that your speed is going to be 2 or 3 times more. If you decide not to pay attention to that also, and at the end of the day, you are late, it simply means that you don't get the snack, isn't it? I will make sure that the food part happens, because starving a child is not a consequence at all. Don't ever do it. Don't ever deprive your children of food because of something they did or didn't do. Food is a must. It is the treat that can go. So at the end of the day, when he was packing his lunch, I said, fill the flask. You will need it for 2 meals. You will need it for snack time. So when your friends are eating the waffles and all of that, okay, don't bring out your spaghetti. Eat half of it. Then close your lunch. But when it's lunchtime, you bring them. Hey, that's okay. And then my daughter, ordinarily, my daughter is 6. So ordinarily, I would I mean, there's lunch available in school. There's meals. There are meals available in school. I would call because she doesn't have a hand in all of it. She's not fixing her meal. She's 6. Okay, she just needs to take care of herself. Age appropriate, task, age appropriate responsibilities, isn't it? Okay, so because she's not fixing all of that, so she doesn't ordinarily have to suffer because of her brother's inadequacies, right? So usually when they miss the snack like that, I'll call the school and order a snack for her. But because she woke up today, refused to get up also, got into the toilet, and instead of having her bath, she started playing, got into her room. Instead of dressing up, she started playing. So I said to her, I don't think you also deserve a snack because you didn't want it either. So I told him, fill up her flask also. So he filled it up very well, enough meal. So they carried their flask with no enthusiasm this morning. They carried because there was nothing to look forward to. The real meals are bland as far as children are concerned. It's, there's a snack time with the, with the extras. That's what they all want. But hey, I am hoping that by tomorrow, this is happening. Happens every now and then. We had one of it last week, and the rest of the week, everything was cool. Last 2 weeks. Okay, so today we go into that. So hopefully, when they wake up tomorrow, they will get right to it. So yes, don't take away the consequences. Let your children go through the consequences. Okay, no, they do not have to suffer pain. Okay, they don't have to suffer pain. All they need to go through is the consequences for their actions. And those consequences should be predetermined even before the action. This is how you raise children with secure attachment. All right, beautiful. So that was number 3. Number 4, understanding and manage. They will become understanding. They will know how to understand their emotions and know how to manage negative emotions. Okay, your children, because you validate their emotions. I understand that you are frustrated right now because your friend destroyed your PlayStation game or destroyed your whatever game, that you took to school. I understand that. However, you didn't have to take it to school, isn't it? But hey, the child is frustrated at the time. He's really sad. Oh, I'm so sorry about your game. I'm so sorry about what happened. I understand how you feel right now. I really do. Sorry about this. Allow them go through the emotions. She just had a breakup. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, I remember when I was 18. I remember when I was 20 and I had my first breakup. It was so painful. I am here for you, honey. If there is anything you want to talk about, if you want someone to hold your hand, if you want someone to hug you, I am here. Just call me if you need me and all of that. All right, so you know that and you've given the child that. Doesn't mean that you won't make dinner at night, isn't it? Oh, honey. Okay, do you feel better now and all that? It's time for dinner. You know something? Come, I'll help you out in the kitchen. Let me help you out in the kitchen today because of how you feel. Okay, we will do what we have to do. It's not the time to start, hounding them and telling them, but I told you. He's not a good person. The first day I saw him, I knew that there's nothing that will come out. Oh, yeah, it's okay. The child would eventually, admit that on their own, even without you rubbing it all over their face. Okay, what they need at that time is your support and your empathy. That's the reason when they get into another relationship, that's the reason when another person comes to ask them out, they will say to you, guess what, mommy? So and so person came around, blah, blah, blah. That's the reason they will say, hey, hi, daddy. Guess what? I have this guy, that's trying to. That's the only reason they will come back and talk to you. Why? Because you didn't judge them the last time. Because you didn't say to them, I told you, Igbo boys are stupid boys, or Yoruba boys are useless. Did I not warn you? But you will not listen to me. That's how your head is. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, you did not do that. Hey, sweetie, I understand your pain. I understand what you're going through. I went through something similar when I was 18 or 20, and I feel you. If you ever want to talk about it, I will be fine. I mean, I'll be here for you to speak about it with me. Okay, but apart from that, this is what you can do. This is what you can do. Just read books at this point. Okay, let's go out and that will help you, deal with the emotions. So when you are that kind of parent that allow your children go through their emotions, you validate their emotions, and then you are there with them through their emotions. Okay, letting them take the front stage. It is their emotion, it's not your own. It is their pain, it is not your own. It is their breakup, it is not your own. It is they that failed the exam, it is not you that failed the exam. Don't make their failures or their mistakes about you. They were not born for you to look a certain way in front of your friends. They were not born for you. We're not born for you to boost your relationship or to boost your position as the best mother in the world or the best father in the world before your friends. Don't use your children as those. For that. Something for those of us who are like parent coaches and all of that, So there's this expectation that people have, okay, that your children must be a certain way because you're talking about, I never put myself through those pressures. I don't ever. When I go out with my children, you will not catch me chasing them all around and will you greet? Will you do this? I don't. I allow them be. We have our conversations before we go out. Hey, sweetie, you know how to behave when you go outside, isn't it? Let's role play what happens when you're outside. You ask before. Basically, let's role play. What would you do when you go out? How would you act when you're outside? Especially with my 6-year-old. Ask her. So what's the right way to ask for something if you need it? I'll go to this person's mommy and ask her if I can have something that I need. Basically, that's it. When I go out with my children, I face my business. They face their business with my eyes looking at them from the corner of my eyes, and everything, whatever the kids do wrong while we're outside, it's okay. I would have to allow them deal with it and all of that. When we come back home, we will reflect, okay? We will come and we will review what that outing was like and why you had to make this choice, why you had to do this, and why you had to do that. And then we will answer the question, what could you have done differently? Okay, and I can do this because we already have what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. So when you raise children like this, you will be raising children who are secure in their attachment. And that is the reason they will come back over and over again. Some of us argue a lot of the times when you're saying, do this with your children, do that with your children right now. We'll argue, oh, our parents were this, they were hard on us, they were this, they were that to us and all of that. Did we not turn out well? Because of course, for us, turning out well is you got a good job, you did well, you earned well, you married a good boy, a good girl, you have 3, 5, 4, 10 children, you have a house, automatically you turned out well. But then again, we don't stop and ask ourselves, so over the years with our parents, what kind of attachment did we build? And the many times as a teenager, you got into problems. Were your parents the first people that you run back to? The many times as a teenager, you got into bad situations. Were your parents the first people that you ran to? I know of people who will even fall sick. I know of people who will get into like real life threatening situations and their parents will not know. The first, as in they will not have a single idea. So take it this way. I know people that you get to a point and your parents become total strangers. They know nothing about your lives. A lot of us do this to our parents, or we've done this to our parents. Now close your eyes and imagine that that is what you will be in the life of this child that you have dropped everything in your life today for. Okay, I know how many people have dropped their jobs just to be home to raise their children. I know how many people have left friends and all that they are used to, and they've relocated just because of their children. I know how many people have stopped wearing good clothes, okay, and the things that you love just because you want to raise these children. Now close your eyes and imagine that after you've done all of these in your life, you get to a point, your child is 20. And then the child practically locks you out of their lives. The only thing you know about your child is that they are moving, they work in a certain place, and that's about it. They fall sick, you're not among the people that will know. They have financial problems, you're the last you will never know. As a matter of fact, they're going through hardship in their workplace, you are not to be told. They're going through trouble in their marriages, you have no idea. Why are they keeping all of these things from you? It's because they did not build a secure attachment. It's because you did not raise them with deep understanding. You didn't raise them to go out and come back however they come back. They are not sure. They can't trust that you will be there no matter what. We like to lie to ourselves and say, oh, it's because I don't want to trouble them. They are old. No, 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 no. That's not the case a lot of the time. That's not it. It's not because of their ill health. It's not because of any of those things. It's simply because we can't look a certain way before our parents because we do not want them to judge us. And that's because we know what it means to be judged by our parents from our upbringing. So if you're raising children the same way, you're raising children that you think that the life that you give them, the good schools, the good environment, by way of structure, good school, good location, good that, good this is all that you need to give them. Why? I mean, emotionally, you don't have that deep connection that allows them to be secure. You don't have that attachment that allows your child, okay, that allows you let your child go. You're hovering over them like a helicopter, right? You don't have the attachment. You've not raised them to a point where you can hit your chest and say, I have done my part, God will do the rest. That you let them go without fear, okay? Knowing that they will be fine. And then they go out there, they make mistakes, and you have your arms open this way to receive them when they come and embrace them. And then after you receive them, embrace them, you allow them go through whatever they are feeling. You validate that feeling. And then when everything is okay, you point them to the consequences of their action and allow them go through those consequences. That is how you raise children and build a secure attachment, okay, with those children, knowing that you will not judge them. But what we do a lot of the times is we judge them, we shout, we scream, we beat, we deprive, we judge them and all of that. And then you know what we do? We go back and we fix all the mess. And somewhere in our head, we tell ourselves, I'm a no-nonsense parent. You are every nonsense parent. You are every nonsense parent. I promise you. You go, they fail the exams or they fail this. And what do? You get angry. You beat them. You take their bicycle, take their scooter, take their game, take everything. And then what? You register them in Magic Center 2 months later. Just excuse me. All right, parents, I'm not even here to judge you. I'm just saying, let's raise children with the right attachments. The next one is our children will become confident. We've run out of time, so I'll just go through the last two. Our children will become confident people, and then our children will be people who can withstand mistakes and defeats. When they are defeated, they can jump up, pick up themselves, and move on because they know that they have your support. Okay, when they make mistakes, they will fall, but they will jump up. Hi, Amalala, how are you doing? Yes, so yeah, sorry, I don't mean to be abusive, but hey, you are not a no-nonsense parent. Please don't say that. All right, so yes, so they become confident and they become people who understand defeat and they know how to go down that you create in your home. Okay, and this is what we're going to be doing with parents in our course that we're launching this month. Okay, creating a secure creating a stimulating environment in your home for your child to have deep learning. Okay, so you know that every time I talk about education, every time I talk about learning and all of that, I am not talking about book alone. Okay, some people, every time they hear learning or education, the only thing that comes to mind is book. No, every time I talk about learning, education, and all of that, I am talking about a whole lot, holistic, 8 different areas. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so in that course, we'll be teaching you how to create a secure attachment, like what I've just talked about today, how to build yourself to raise children with a secure attachment, how to create the right structure in your home that will allow your children thrive, how to build an education system in your home that will allow your children thrive, how to build the physical physical environment in your home that will allow your children, okay, have deep learning, okay, and deep insight into learning that will allow them thrive. Okay, so we're launching that course tomorrow, I think, and we're going to be taking the course at the end, towards the end of the month. All right, the course is very cheap if you register early. It's just 5,000 naira early bird price. Okay, after that, it's going to be about 7,000 naira. All right, so if you would like to be a part of the course, send us a message or just put it in the comments. Okay, that you like to be a part of the course, send us a message, okay, and we will be glad to have you. All right, so it's my birthday month this month, okay, so we are going to have a lot of freebies and a lot of giveaways in the community. So I need you to keep it locked here, okay, throughout the month of March. It's my birthday month, it's my husband's birthday month, so March is a very important and very special month for us, and especially for our children. It's like mommy and daddy, so our children are usually very excited in the month of March. All right, so yes, so we're March babies like that, cool people like that. Thank you very much, everyone who joined me. Sorry I was not able to acknowledge all of you who are here. Thank you. I see a Chinonso, I see you in Niobong. Oh, Amara, are you still there? How are you, darling? Oh, Nyobong and Malola, everyone who was able to join. I'm looking at your comments now. Okay, if you have any questions, please. I can't see any questions, but if you have any, please drop them in the comments and we'll do well to respond to them. Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Maribeth Chimar again, and I am always excited to be on your screen, and I'm always super excited to be a part of your parenting journey. I do not take it for granted that you allow us to be a part of your journey. Thank you very much and have a blessed day and a lovely weekend tomorrow. Bye. Bye, Amolola. All right, bye, YouTube.